The studio lights were blinding. The cameras hummed with their familiar electric buzz. Audience members whispered in excitement, clutching mugs with the Today with Jenna and Friends logo, eager to see Kelly Clarkson, the powerhouse singer, the talk show host, the woman America had cheered for since she belted her way to the top on American Idol. But Kelly's heart wasn't calm that morning. She sat in the green room with her hands wrapped around a lukewarm cup of tea. Her team had warned her, the producers might push you on sensitive topics. Stay poised. Stay you. She smiled at them, but inside, she felt an ache that fame never erased. Life had been kind and cruel in equal measure. Divorce had tested her. Public scrutiny had weighed her down. Even her kindness had been doubted by those who mistook it for weakness. Today, she just wanted to sing, laugh, and maybe remind someone at home that hope still existed. When she walked onto the stage, applause thundered. Jenna Bush Hager hugged her warmly, and the set gleamed like a morning sunrise. At first, everything flowed, light banter about music, her kids, and her talk show's new season. But then, like a storm cloud sliding over blue skies, one pointed question changed everything. "Kelly," Jenna began carefully, "you've always been so open about your struggles. But some say you've quit on people, your marriage, projects, even moments on your show. How do you respond to those who think you walk away when things get tough?" The room went still. Audience members shifted in their seats. Producers leaned forward in the control room. Kelly froze. The word quit echoed like a slap. For a second, she thought of laughing it off. For a second, she thought of brushing it aside with charm. But then she thought of her children, of nights spent crying alone, of mornings when she rose broken yet still sang. And suddenly, her throat burned with truth she had swallowed too long. "Quit." Her voice trembled at first, then sharpened. "You think leaving something toxic behind is quitting? You think saving yourself is quitting?" The audience gasped. Jenna blinked, caught off guard. Kelly leaned forward, her Texan grit rising in her eyes. "Walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the bravest thing you'll ever do. I didn't quit on my marriage, I fought for it until fighting meant losing myself. I didn't quit on projects, I learned to say no to things that crushed my spirit. And when I walk off a stage, it's not because I'm weak, it's because I refuse to stand in a place that doesn't honor honesty." Her voice cracked with passion. The silence afterward was heavy, fragile. Jenna tried to steer the conversation back, fumbling for lightness, but Kelly felt the pressure building. The audience's wide eyes, the producer's murmurs, the heat of judgment, she couldn't breathe. So she stood. Without another word, Kelly pushed back her chair, tears stinging her eyes, and walked off the set. The cameras caught only a glimpse, her figure striding toward the shadows, her hand brushing away tears, her heart pounding like drums of war. Backstage, her team rushed toward her. "Kelly, are you okay?" She couldn't answer. She leaned against the wall, shaking. All her life, people had seen her as strong, smiling, unbreakable. But in that moment, she felt raw, exposed. "Maybe I shouldn't have come," she whispered. "Maybe they're right. Maybe I am a quitter." Her manager touched her shoulder. "Kelly, listen to yourself. You didn't storm off because you're weak. You walked out because you stood up for yourself. That's strength." But Kelly's heart wrestled with doubt. Memories flashed, her father leaving when she was a child, critics tearing apart her weight, headlines painting her as fragile. And now this? She sat in a quiet hallway, hearing the muffled chatter of the show continuing without her. Cameras rolled, laughter filled the air, but she sat in silence with her pain. And then, something unexpected. A young woman approached cautiously, clutching a visitor's badge. She had tears in her eyes. "Kelly. I don't mean to intrude, but I had to say thank you." Kelly looked up, startled. The woman's voice shook. I left an abusive relationship last year. Everyone told me I was a quitter. Even my own family. But when you said walking away can be the bravest thing you ever do, it felt like you were speaking to me. You reminded me that I'm not weak. I'm free. Kelly's eyes widened. She reached out, taking the young woman's trembling hands. In that touch, something inside her shifted. The storm in her chest calmed, replaced by a quiet fire. How many people had been told they were quitters when they were survivors? How many carried shame for saving their own lives? Kelly realized this wasn't about her, not just her. This was about every voice silenced by judgment. Every heart carrying invisible battles. She stood again, straighter this time. The tears on her face were no longer of doubt but of resolve. I need to go back, she whispered. Her team hesitated. Are you sure? Yes, Kelly said firmly. But not to apologize. To tell the truth. When she returned to the stage, the audience erupted in relieved applause. Jenna looked stunned but hopeful. Kelly raised her hand gently, asking for silence. I left just now because I was overwhelmed, she said softly. But I came back because I realized something important. We live in a world that tells us quitting is failure. But sometimes quitting is survival. Sometimes quitting is courage. And I will never let anyone, on TV, in headlines, or in my own mirror, shame me for choosing life over chains. Her words rang like bells in the air. People in the audience wiped tears. Even Jenna, visibly moved, whispered, "Thank you for saying that, Kelly." Kelly smiled, not with triumph but with peace. We all walk away from something. A job, a friendship, a place, a dream that no longer fits. That doesn't make us weak, it makes us human. And sometimes, it makes us free enough to discover who we really are. The crowd rose in a standing ovation. Cameras captured it all, raw, unscripted, unforgettable. That night, the clip of Kelly storming off and then returning spread across the internet. Some headlines twisted it, calling it drama. But others called it courage. More importantly, ordinary people shared their stories, mothers leaving abuse, workers leaving toxic jobs, students leaving impossible pressures. Kelly read their words with tears in her eyes. For the first time in a long while, she felt not just like a singer, not just a celebrity, but a voice that mattered. And in the quiet of her hotel room, she whispered a promise to herself. I will never again be ashamed of walking away when walking away means walking toward freedom.